Everyone. Oh, you mean?
Thank you. Hey, I'll be right next door to the meeting. All right, thank you. You're welcome.
All right, you get your pick. That's the only one here. What you got? I got one of some dietary restrictions. We've got a honey club or a turkey bacon avocado. That's the honey club. Yeah. Okay. Hello, everyone. Sorry for the slight delay. We had a little. Oh, it's not even a delay. It's 11:59. There's the agenda for you, and we'll be looking at this. Other people will get on the screen. So I don't want to have to print out a bazillion pages. How was the drive down here?
Good.
Good. How's everything in the Tooele Valley?
Good.
You guys had a big fire up there, right?
Yeah, by Stockton.
Yeah.
Big one.
Was there any damage or?
Yeah, well, I thought with all this rain that we had that there'd be more flooding, but it's seemed to not too much.
That's
not too
good.
bad. So
Nice.
see what happens. That's a little ways away from where I'm at. So
Yeah. I was driving home from Tahoe on Saturday. So we drove, from Wendover all the way through Tooele, and there was a flash flood warning. And all of a sudden it like rained really hard. But it was nice because that road where the sand dunes on either side, it was like filled with water. That's always cool. And then after it stopped raining, it was super blue sky. So it was like perfectly reflected in the water, it looks like,
pretty.
yeah.
Yeah,
It was like endless sky with just like a railroad track across the middle.
That was Tahoe. Beautiful.
It was gorgeous. Yeah. Yeah, it was nice. It's been a pretty hectic summer, just like family stuff going on. And so I had the opportunity to go out there and work a little bit remotely, but mostly relax. It was really nice.
Good.
Much needed.
Good.
Yeah. Yeah, better than last year. I think last year was when they had the fires out there and the whole city was just packed in smoke. I saw pictures, I wasn't there, but. All right, it is 12:01, so we can go ahead and get started. Apologies for any delay or any trouble with the casting to the screen. We're having a little technical difficulties over here, and that we can't get the laptop to turn on. So I'm improvising and doing it off my phone. So apologies as I switch between all those things. Okay, so we don't have too much to talk about today. Our main objective will be to approve the rating and ranking that we discussed from the last meeting as well as the minutes. And then, as I mentioned in the email, but isn't on the agenda, is talking about the how to apply workshop, which we also talked about at the last meeting, wanting to get that scheduled as soon as possible. And so we can start advertising and getting all the information we need out there. But first, let's look at the minutes. I know I just sent them this morning, and apologies for that. They didn't get included in the original email. Did you guys have a chance to review them? I can put them up on the screen.
Hey, Christy.
Yeah.
I was just going to add that I had made a recommendation to take the application checklist and almost make it like a calendar. So it was something that we could send out to multiple cities. And so I didn't know if in the minutes that's I didn't see it in the minutes. So if I missed it, definitely correct me, but I was just wondering if we could have that reflected in the minutes as well.
Yeah, we did talk about that at the February meeting. And then we reviewed it in the May meeting. But you're right, that isn't reflected in there, so I'll make sure to add that. And then I can pull up the calendar that was created. It was uploaded on our WFRC website. Let's see. If I can quickly find it. You guys are getting a glimpse into. So this isn't in calendar per se form, but it does go over a list of the months and what needs to be done in those months. Does that kind of meet what you were talking about, or do you think it'd be more helpful to have it on like an actual calendar type format?
I think that once we, like, I would love to see the checklist with it in like maybe calendar format, especially once the dates are
Solidified.
set. Yeah, like October 20th. Like I know you have it on the check sheet, but I think it'd be super helpful to almost have this as both, right? Like the checklist, but then also the calendaring. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I also feel like on number one, if you don't do number one, if you miss October 20th and you're looking at this in January, you're not applying for CDBG, right? Like, so I feel like that has to be like asterisked and put required, if that's indeed accurate, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because I think that's super important for people. Like maybe they're not thinking of CDBG yet, but that's where I feel like I'll get with Mayor Mark, and for Weber County, I think it'd be important to send to, you know, all the cities to have them attend just in case something comes up, right? Like as they start to learn about this, so that we can try to get more participation, if that makes sense. But I think it'd be super helpful to have it on the documents to make sure that people know you literally have to be there or you're not going to be involved for another year. So.
Okay, yeah. We can go ahead and I can go ahead and put that together, and I will add that to the minutes as well.
Thank you.
Kind of on a similar note to that, we are in the process every year, all of our funding program managers go to each of the COGs and talk about all of our funding programs. And we are currently in the process of getting those scheduled to take place in the next month or two. So that'll be a helpful piece of information we can bring to those meetings and share with the COG members and make sure they have all that information and they can more confidently talk about it with their local communities.
Awesome. So I would make a motion to accept the minutes with the addition of what I just recommended. And there's 2 periods on the first sentence of next steps. So I would make a motion to accept with those 2 changes.
Okay, great.
I'll second it.
Thank you. Great. Okay, so in our last meeting, we talked about potential changes to the rating and ranking criteria. As you can see in the minutes, we specifically talked about things that need to be updated every year, such as the membership, and then the dates on specific criteria, such as when was your community last awarded CDBG funds. So that's number 9, I believe. Anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. So the numbers that we looked at were number 3, moderate income housing plan, just making sure that those moderate income housing plans meet the new legislative requirements. And so we left all those in there. That's a great one to continue to do. Another one that we talked about was number 8. Oh, sorry. It's a little difficult on my phone here. Number 9, so updating those years to reflect Oh, this isn't the right year, sorry. This is real hard on my phone. Okay. Okay, so, still isn't the right one. So sorry for this hold up here. Here we go. Okay, so your membership dates were updated. We left number 3 the same. We then talked about updating number 9, so those will reflect the updated years. We talked about updating number 10. We decided to leave that the same. We thought that those priorities were still in line with the needs across the region. And then we talked about kind of outlining the property rate and if we should leave that in. We decided that we should leave that in. It rewards communities who are doing their part to collect money to do these types of activities that they wanted to do. So I went in the back, we have all that information so that when it comes time to score, we can easily have that information readily available, and that was updated. So not a lot of changes that we wanted to make, mainly just updates, and all those updates have been made. This is currently out for 30-day public comment period, as is required by HUD to do. And that comment period will end on the 8th of next month. So barring any comments from the public or any communities, this will be the final version that will be published in the Policies and Procedures Handbook next month. So also, as required by HUD, we need to have this officially approved by our committee, unless you guys have any recommended changes.
I think it looks good, Christy. It reflects all the changes we talked about. I am prepared to make a motion to approve.
Great, thank you.
Christy, I'll second with a question, like what you have on the board right now, there's like a floating square. Do you want any sort of review, like do we need that square there? I know that's silly, but like, do you want those squares after each? Like, not the table, so go down below that particular table. And do you see there's like,
Yeah, I see those. And
Yeah.
yeah, that's it. I'll make sure that those don't get printed in the book. I'm not sure if it's just the way that I'm displaying it right now that those show up, but I'll look into that. And if they are actually boxes that are there, I'll get rid of them. I think they might be page breaks.
oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, great. I'll second though.
Awesome, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Awesome. All right, that takes care of most of what this meeting is about. There's 2 more items I wanted to talk about last year. It was discussed that we could have had better coordination in planning and scheduling the how to apply workshop. There was a couple of conflicts that I wasn't aware of within your guys' communities. So I wanted to just let you run the date by you and make sure there's not any hard conflicts that you guys can see that would prevent any potential applicants from attending. And that date is tentatively October 20th at 3 p.m.
That'll be in here.
Yep. Yep, at the Wasatch Front office. Does that sound like an okay date for everybody? Okay,
I don't see any conflicts right now, so.
okay.
Can I just, I don't know if this is the time, Christy, but on the checklist, Did you want to put 3 o'clock on it, on that first line? And then on February 2023, there's an extra 2 in there.
Sorry, which item?
On number 4, row 4, it's,
Oh.
yeah.
Well, they have like 1,000 years to spend down there.
And then quick question, when it says on number 4, current CDBG grants, is that the previous years then? I mean, I wonder if people are gonna understand that.
Yeah, so all CDBG grants are required to be spent within 18 months unless you get an extension. And so theoretically, that would be last year's unless you got an extension.
Got you.
But current CDBG includes any CDBG funding that you have.
Got you. I wonder if that should be in parentheses, you know, like up to 18 months from when you were first awarded or something like that, to make sure to designate for people on that line that it's the previous years, if that makes sense.
Do you think it would cover everything if we just changed current to all CDBG ongoing, to
Sure.
all ongoing CDBG grants?
Yeah, that would be great. I just feel like we're talking like number 1, you're talking about like this new year where you're applying and we're talking about like the RFP, and there was no signal that we're talking like even past years, if that makes sense, if you're not like on this committee. So I think that would be a helpful clarification.
Okay, great. That is helpful. Let me stop sharing this. Okay, so that's really all we had to talk about. One other thing that I'll mention is that in past years, we typically cancel the November meeting. You know, the how to apply workshop has already taken place. We've already updated our rating and ranking. I'll just be starting to work on the annual action plan. And so content has been pretty light in November. So I just wanted to run that by you guys right now and see if we can just go ahead right now and cancel that November meeting.
Sounds good.
Okay, great. And then I guess one more thing we can talk about is in February, if we want to meet at a more central location. Melissa, you mentioned the COE is available. I'm happy to meet wherever. And I can pick up lunch on the way or whatever. So does that sound like it might be easier for people to get to there, or and we can kind of spread around the in Ogden? Is that further for you?
Quite a bit.
Quite a bit further. Okay, well then
But
let's,
that's, I mean, wherever I need to go.
okay, we'll put a pin on that, and I will follow up in January and get a feel for the room.
So Christy, I'm in favor of canceling the November, but I would just ask that when you make changes to the documents, that you just send them out via email so that we can remember and just have it triggered in our heads to like maybe get on the, like for us, the WCOG agenda and really try to get this marketed. And so that would be super helpful.
Okay.
What are the applications due?
So the initial applications are due in web grants January 31st of each year, yeah. But as Melissa mentioned, the first date to be aware of is October 20th. So that'll be the mandatory.
Yeah, I know that. Yes,
If you guys are ever talking with the community and find out that they can't attend that October 20th meeting for whatever reason, if they reach out to me beforehand and I follow up with other AOGs around the state, it is an option for them to attend the How to Apply workshop in another AOG region. So that is an option as well. Okay, so that's pretty much all we have to talk about unless anyone has any things they want to talk about, and you guys can save 45 minutes. All right, well then if someone has a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for your time. This was very short, but it's very important that we got those reading and ranking approved. I will update all the things that we just talked about and send those in a follow-up email. And then I will also send you the how to apply workshop flyer and information once we get that all calendared and scheduled. I've set aside a room for that day, so I don't see any reason why we can't get that scheduled on that date. And then follow up with you as we have any changes, and then reach out in January to talk about our upcoming February meeting. Awesome. Thanks, you guys.
Hey, thank you.
Bye.
Thanks, Christie.